Okay, let's jump right in. You've probably seen these things flashing across your feeds. Today, we're doing a deep dive into that gadget everyone's talking about, the Galaxy Ball. The ads, I mean, they really sell it, don't they? Calling it a pocket comet. And, get this, a toy revolution.
Oh yeah, the marketing is really slick, very effective. The basic idea they push is this like glowing ball, like uses sensors, supposedly,
Yep.
advanced ones, to just magically hover and spin around. And the big hook is that it flies back to you, like a boomerang. They position it as, high-tech but also screen-free fun, kind of a drone meets fidget spinner.
Right, and if you go to their official website, it looks fantastic, super polished. You've got the bright colors, the slick videos with kids having a blast, and of course those classic pressure tactics, limited stock or going fast, But for us, the alarm bell started ringing almost immediately with the price.
Yeah, that's the contradiction, isn't it? It's fascinating. They're talking up this advanced flight technology, these complex sensors, but the price is just, well, it feels suspiciously low for that kind of tech. If it were really unique, truly proprietary technology, you'd expect it to cost way more. That low price, that's the hook.
Yeah.
And when you start digging into that, the whole unique invention story kind of starts to unravel.
Okay, so what did you find when you started looking, beyond their own marketing? What's behind that low price?
Well, it unravels really fast, actually. As soon as you search outside that specific Galaxy Ball brand name, boom, you find what look like identical flying orb toys. Loads of them, under all sorts of different names on places like Amazon, AliExpress, you name it. And often they're even cheaper. So it strongly suggests the Galaxy Ball isn't some breakthrough. It's just a rebranded generic toy that's being marketed really heavily.
So that points to a specific business model, right? More than just slapping a new label on it.
Exactly. It looks a lot like drop shipping, which is a huge thing online. The company selling the Galaxy Ball probably doesn't make it. They don't even handle inventory. They just run these really polished ads, take your order, and have a generic product shipped straight from usually an overseas supplier. It's a model built for quick sales, not necessarily for like quality control or innovation.
Okay, but let's be clear for everyone listening. We're not saying it's a complete scam, are we? Like you order it and a box shows up.
Right. Yeah, that's important. You'll most likely get a product in the mail. So it's not outright fraud in that sense.
Yeah.
But is it the magical device from the ads? No. It's definitely overhyped. The marketing is, let's say, very misleading about performance.
Okay.
That's the key thing here. It's not so much a scam as it is.
Yeah.
Clever marketing psychology. That low price point is deliberately set to make you think, oh, what's the harm? It
Right.
lowers your guard, makes you click buy before you shop around or look for independent reviews.
And when people do get the box, what's the reality? What are buyers actually saying compared to those slick ads?
Yeah, the reality check hits hard based on reviews. People report a lot of problems. Instead of that smooth boomerang flight, you get descriptions like, I saw one user call it, and I quote, a drunken bumblebee that immediately crashes into the nearest wall, which is pretty vivid.
Oh, yeah.
The flight power is weak, the plastic feels cheap, and maybe the biggest complaint is the battery life. It's terrible. The ads show like 30 minutes of continuous flight, people are reporting maybe 3 to 5 minutes, and it's back to the USB charger. So pretty disappointing on that front.
Okay, so wrapping this up for you, listening right now, maybe seeing those ads pop up, what's the bottom line?
Well, there are kind of two ways to look at it, right? If you're genuinely expecting this amazing high-tech toy that works exactly like in those polished videos, then frankly, no, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
But if you just want a cheap, glowing gadget for like 5 minutes of silly fun, a bit of a novelty, it might be okay as long as you understand what you're getting and you don't pay that inflated brand name price. Find the generic version if you really want one.
Right. So the real lesson here isn't just about this specific toy, is it? It's about seeing the whole marketing playbook in action. The slick website, the tempting low price, the fake urgency with limited stock. It's a standard formula. They use it to sell all sorts of generic stuff online by making it seem special.
Absolutely. And that leaves you with something to think about. Now that you can spot this playbook,
Right.
know that you can spot this playbook, the rebranding, the drop shipping signs, the hype tactics, how many other viral products or limited time deals are using the exact same strategy? And here's a more specific question. Which marketing tool do you think is actually more powerful for these sellers? Is it the fancy descriptive language like calling it a pocket comment? Or is it the psychological trick, the pressure of that limited stock warning? Which one really gets people to click buy? Something to chew on.